Hey, what's going on, Super Friends, and welcome to Screen Rant. I'm Greg Elliott, and over the years, a long list of actors have brought Superman's nemesis, Lex Luthor, to life on the big and small screen, but we think that one of them stands out above the rest. Now, I'm sure there will be some disagreements here, so let's try to keep it civil in the comments, guys, but today, we're going to talk about how none of them have done it better than Michael Rosenbaum in Smallville.
Where's Lex?
He's standing right in front of you.
I'm sure some of you are crying blasphemy right now, but hear us out, okay? So, who's been Lex on screen? Well, obviously, there was the one and only Gene Hackman in the original Superman films. He played it a little theatrical and over the top, but he's considered the definitive version of the role for a lot of people. Heck, he's probably the single best thing about all of Superman 4. We've also had a few others play Lex, including John Shea in Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman, Kevin Spacey in Superman Returns, Jesse Eisenberg in Batman v Superman, and most recently, John Cryer in Supergirl. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and say that the one that best captured the qualities one expects from Superman's #1 enemy was Michael Rosenbaum on Smallville. So, what makes us say that? Well, what if I told you that none other than Stan Lee himself thought so? Yeah, well, we'll come back to that. So Michael Rosenbaum's version of Lex Luthor debuted in the pilot episode of Smallville way back in 2001. He brought the arrogance, the intelligence, and the subtle and sinister charm really needed for a character like Lex. Now, regardless of where he was on the good to evil spectrum at any given point, Rosenbaum brought a lot of intensity to the role, and I don't think I'm alone in saying that he was more often than not the best part of the show. Now, Smallville also had a big advantage over some of the other live-action adaptations, and that's because it was on for so long, and it really got the chance to develop Lex's character arc. Now, instead of just giving us a pure evil genius right off the bat, Smallville presented a complicated and sometimes even sympathetic look at the character. He wasn't blatantly evil, but it was a slow burn, and you could definitely see it underneath from time to time. Well, until season 7, when we finally got to see him go full bad guy. One of my favorite relationships in the show was actually not the one between Lex and Clark, but between Lex and his dad Lionel, and it was this one that finally tipped him over the edge. Remember when Lex pushed his dad out a window? I still think that's one of the best lines of the entire series when he says,
I was raised in your shadow. Now you're gonna die in mine.
Right? And it worked so well because we really got to see Lex get to that point over 7 years. Now sure, Smallville has aged a little bit, and some of it's pretty campy when you rewatch, but it's definitely not as campy as Gene Hackman in Superman 1. Now, Lois and Clark's Lex was a little too one-note, Kevin Spacey was pretty good, but basically just doing a slightly angrier version of Gene Hackman, and Jesse Eisenberg was just a bit too, I don't know, twitchy, right? In Smallville, Michael Rosenbaum gave us a nuanced and believable villain, and his journey from good to bad never felt rushed or forced. And oh yeah, I mentioned earlier, Stan Lee thought so too. At a convention back in 2013, Michael got Stan's signature, and you can clearly see from the horse's mouth that Stan thought Michael Rosenbaum was the best Lex Luthor. And you can't really disagree with Stan Lee when it comes to superheroes, right? Now, of course, we all know Stan Lee was a Marvel guy, well, the Marvel guy, so I guess you can take his compliment however you want. With Tom Welling and Erica Durance both coming to the CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths later this year, I'd just like to put another vote out there to get Michael Rosenbaum back as Lex, alright? Let's make it happen, guys. We'll definitely let you know if our wish comes true, so keep checking back with Screen Rant to stay in the loop. I'm Greg Elliott, and I'll see you next time. Adios.